Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Married Now Widowed. We're your hosts. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Nadine, and this podcast is about navigating life after loss through unfiltered conversations.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome back.
This episode is a little bit different. Grief, but a different type of grief.
Do you know what's funny? We say that about every episode.
That it's a little bit different. Yeah, I know. We do actually. I always say that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But each episode really is different.
It is,
and you gain something different from all of them. So make sure you go and watch all of them.
Yeah.
This is about ambiguous grief. Okay. So ambiguous grief, what it is essentially is, I would say, loss without closure, right?
Yeah.
Now, at first, I have to say, I don't think I've ever thought about ambiguous grief in my whole life before we had a special guest on the show.
Mohammed.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just didn't consider it. And that's really slack for a lot of people that have been going through ambiguous grief, because I'm sure there's heaps of people in my position that also have never considered that that is actually a thing and that people might be going through that, right? Yeah. So we had a special guest on our podcast a few months back, Mohammed. If you haven't seen his episode, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It was such a great, I mean, I don't want to say a great story because it's hit someone's life and it's devastating.
It was an eye-opener.
Oh, massively, massively. And it reached such a big audience and so many people had such an opinion on it. I was shocked at how much reach this episode got. Yeah. I didn't realize it was such a thing.
And a lot of people liked the direction that we took in that
100%,
episode.
100%, because I think that ambiguous grief is more relatable than grief.
Correct.
Than direct grief, right?
Because you don't like grief. When you think of grief, you think of losing somebody to death, whereas ambiguous grief is it's grief without
a loss.
It's grief without loss, without physically losing somebody. Yeah. That's what it is. So they're alive, but you're grieving them because they're no longer in your life. Yeah,
which a question that's commonly posed and that we've posed to ourselves before is which is harder? Yeah. You know, not that we want to compare, but it's like fuck, that would be rough.
Very hard. Very hard. And we actually asked Mohammed that.
Yeah.
We asked him, you know, how he felt.
Yeah, what he thinks
and what he thinks would be harder.
And shockingly, he said that it'd probably be easier if it was actual grief than if it was than ambiguous grief, right? Not that you would want one or the other. You'd hope for neither. But
that's right.
I understand his take on it, right? Because it's like you're so close but so far.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean?
That's exactly right.
You know, unfortunately, in Mohammed's case, and like many other people, he might go his whole life without ever knowing his son again. And his son is well and truly alive and healthy, thank God. But he may never, ever see his son again.
That's right.
And he is a few suburbs away, potentially. You know, Sydney's small. He's not that far away, you know. Obviously, there are some differences between grief and ambiguous grief, right? So I think the biggest one, which is actually debatable in grief also, but closure, right? Because not all the time do you get closure when somebody dies.
That's right.
However, they are dead and death is final, right? There's we're not coming back from it. Nothing's changing. Nothing's happening.
Exactly.
They're dead. Okay. Ambiguous grief is so, I can't even find the words. It's so like your grief is frozen in time. Yeah. Right? There's things you want to.
There's no end point to that. Yeah. You hope that there'd be an ending.
Yeah.
Because you'd hope for a reunion.
That's right.
But you may never get there. You may never get to that end point. Yeah. Whereas with death,
that is the end point.
That is the end point.
That's exactly right.
You know?
That's exactly right. So if you don't know and you haven't seen, Mohammed basically is a man who hasn't seen his son for 12 years, was it? So he saw his son when he was 1. His son's now 13, hasn't seen him in 12 years due to
the impact of divorce. Yeah.
Right? And like listening to Mohammed, like his pain, like it really did something to me.
Yeah.
Especially as a mother. I mean, I can't imagine what you go through as a parent when that happens to you, but also in general, right? So it could be a friendship breakdown. And look, I'm not putting a length of time on anything. Like you could be super close to someone for 6 months and they don't speak to you again and you're grieving. That's fine. But when we talk about long-term relationships that disappear on you, essentially, that's what I'm sort of referring to when I talk about ambiguous grief, and that's what I think is relatable to actual grief.
Of course.
Right? Because grief is big. We're not
100%.
We're not minimizing that at all. Grief is massive. Arguably the worst thing that you can ever go through in life is someone dying that's close to you. And I would say like up there is the end of a relationship that's not final in that sense.
Yeah. And I think we're not talking about like, you know, somebody who's come into your life and, you know, but even a breakup. Even
but even this is not the like 3 dates with a guy and then you crash out.
That's right. Yeah.
Like
and it's not a friendship that you've had for 3 months and then we're talking lifelong, you know, deep relationships.
That's
what
right.
we're talking about.
Exactly right.
I can give you an example.
Okay.
So my husband stopped speaking to a certain person in his life. So I was extremely close to somebody who was in that circle, and we would speak every single day, like you and I speak.
Okay.
Multiple times a day.
Right.
Like extremely close. Okay. And so when my husband stopped, you know, speaking to this person, it became very awkward for us to continue that friendship. And then eventually it just stopped. So imagine you and I just stop speaking.
Yeah.
At the time, you know, there are so many emotions and so many feelings surrounding that it's quite heightened. So you don't really think about it in the moment. But as time goes on, you start to feel a certain way. And I remember feeling like this was a death. Like I felt like it was a death because there was no closure.
Yeah.
We would go from speaking 20 times a day to then nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, babe. Yeah. Like you and I speak 20 times a day.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then to just going like to go to nothing.
Honestly, like if I don't hear from you by like 3 o'clock, I feel weird.
Right.
Yeah. Like
today, you felt weird. You're like,
where is
what are you doing?
What's like, yeah.
Right? That's how it was.
By the way, that's the type of relationship we're talking about with ambiguous grief.
Yes.
Like the type that you don't speak for half a day and you feel something's off in your world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember I was so upset.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, you know, relating it to a loss.
Yeah.
I felt like I had lost this person in my life.
Was this prior to Mick passing?
Yes.
Okay, so you hadn't been through a close death at that time.
No, I had like, you know, like family, like, you know, grandmother, like uncle, like, you know, family I had been.
Right.
But not like.
Something like Mick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I remember thinking, like this is fucked.
Yeah.
Like it's they're still alive, but I can't speak to this person.
Yeah.
I can't. There was no closure for me.
Yeah.
There were you know things that were unresolved.
Yeah.
There were conversations that should have should have had that. We didn't have those conversations. We should have had those conversations, but they just never happened.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, fuck, this is fucked.
Yeah.
Like it's very similar to, you know, to death.
Yeah.
Because that's it. There was no like there's no end point.
Yeah.
It's just forever.
Yeah.
And I was seeing this person.
Yeah.
In places and you can't speak, you don't talk, you don't talk to each other. Thankfully now this person's back in my life.
Okay, that's great. That's really good.
Yeah, it is.
That's
it's
really
great.
good.
But I remember during that time it was really hard for me.
Yeah, of
it
course.
was really, really hard for me. I was so upset.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
So
and now that you've gone through a loss with Mick, what's your opinion on the two? Do you still stand by you saying it was like a death to me?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
especially if you hadn't resolved and it continued and you weren't friends today.
correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it would have, I do still stand by it because I remember the way I felt in that moment.
That's right.
I remember all these years that had passed and zero contact.
Yeah.
Couldn't speak to
Very
this person,
difficult.
couldn't see this
Very
person.
difficult.
And when we would see each other, we wouldn't speak. And it was like really difficult for me.
Yeah.
Really difficult because like I said to you, we were super close. We were so close.
Yeah.
And so I remember how I felt in that moment and it was fucked.
Yeah.
Like I was so upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a really funny / strange example of the same thing that I only remembered actually when you told your story, right? So I have a friend who, it's not really a friend. She's like my sister. Our friendship started when we were 12 and she's still like my sister today, right? When we were about 15, I would say, we had a fight, right?
Yeah.
And we stopped talking. And it was like 6 months of no talking. Babe, I was like a psycho ex. That's how I felt. I would stalk her page, see her in Hawaii on holidays. I will never forget like sitting at my grandmother's house, going on to like her Facebook, Instagram, I don't think was a thing at the time, but I would go on her Facebook and see what she was doing and just be devastated at this friendship breakdown, like devastated. And like, I was so young, so it was so different, right? I was a kid, I was 13 or 14, whatever. But the friendship meant so, like, this was my sister, you know? And I just remember, like, it was so fucked. It was such a fucked feeling. Even at that age, I was like, my world has ended.
Yeah.
Like, I've lost someone that is so important to me, you know? And looking back on it, obviously so minuscule. We were kids fighting over ridiculous shit, you know? And, I mean, like, she's like part of me, you know, now. And it only lasted 6 months and it was fine. But in that 6 month period, I was depressed. Like as a kid, as like a 14, 15-year-old kid, however old I was actually depressed. I was devastated. I was like, someone that I used to see and talk to every single day would live at her place. She'd live at my place. Like it was horrendous.
Yeah.
And you're still out there living your life and I'm watching it.
And that's the biggest thing. Like that's where it becomes a little bit harder.
Very hard.
It's because they're still walking, they're still talking, they're still out there.
That's exactly right.
It's just that the contact that you have with them has like
That's
it's gone.
Exactly right.
It's no longer there anymore.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
But now relate that to like a child. Like we're talking about friendships.
I know, I couldn't. That's why I couldn't. I have so much.
And I think I spoke about this before, but there's like so many people out there that are in similar shoes to Muhammad.
Of course, absolutely. And we discovered that after we put out that episode.
Yeah.
And I just, you're right. I mean, a friendship versus your blood child I can't imagine what Muhammad goes through or what any of these people go through. It must be so hard. Like, again, probably one of the hardest things in life to go through.
It's similar.
That.
It's also similar to, like, you know, people who stop speaking to their parents.
That's a
or
big
their parents
one
stop
too.
speaking to their children.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Or siblings.
Absolutely.
You know.
Siblings a lot. I hear about
a lot
of
Siblings are another big one. They just stop speaking. They cut contact. They have a fight. They have issues, whatever it is, and they're dead to each other.
I know. It's full on. It is so full on.
It is.
I relate ambiguous grief. So if you know me, guys, you know I love my true crime podcast. True crime's my jam.
All the way.
I love it.
Yeah.
I listen to so many true crime podcasts, and lots of the stories are about parents who have missing children or sisters, brothers who have missing siblings, etc. And I relate ambiguous grief to that a lot, right? Because, like, where the fuck are you? Imagine that. Imagine, like, you know, my situation's not easy, but I know where my husband is. I know what happened to him. I was there the whole journey, and I know where he is now. He's dead.
I think ambiguous grief is harder. It's got to be harder.
Feeling of a missing person, and not like I've like so many podcasts that I've listened to, they'll jump on the podcast, they'll have an interview, and they're like, yeah, like she's been missing for like 27 years and they're still out there. These people are still out there trying to find their loved ones. Like, what the fuck happened to you? Where did you go? Imagine your family, your brother, your sister, your daughter, your son, and you don't have any closure. You don't know what the fuck happened to them. Like, that is obviously a type of ambiguous grief, a missing person. And I just feel like, God, I can't even begin to imagine what that would feel like. Like, that's got to be hard. And I've been through close grief, you know, and so for you to go through that and still say, like, fuck, I don't know, that might be worse. I'm like,
I think it is.
I think it would be too. The unknown, I think, is what is the hardest part about ambiguous grief. You don't know. You don't know what's happening. And a big thing is that I read online about ambiguous grief is the hope that you hold on to.
Correct.
So when our husbands passed away, unfortunately, there is no more hope. You go through that hope period when they're sick, right?
That's right.
You're hoping, you're praying, you're hoping
they get
for the
through
best.
it.
Exactly.
And,
when they die, hope dies with them, right? But when you have ambiguous grief, I think you spend your whole life hoping. And I don't know, like, the weight of that on someone. And don't get me wrong, like, we look at people like Muhammad, for example. He has moved forward with his life, right? He's got a beautiful wife, children, etc. So happy for him, right? But I just know he wakes up every day and thinks about that kid.
Of course.
And that will, imagine living like that, babe, for fucking 60 years.
And we asked him, you know, when someone knocks on your door.
Yeah.
When your phone rings.
Yeah. Yeah. But
you're
imagine
hoping
that.
that
Imagine
you
feeling
are
like
hoping that it's him.
Of course. All the time. All the time. I just can't imagine living like that.
But in saying that, I think having hope, it kind of gets you to a place of...
Yeah, I think hope keeps people going.
Yeah,
for
of
sure.
course.
Absolutely. But I also feel like there probably comes a time
where you lose that hope.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can hold on to hope for 30 years.
Yeah, I don't
you
think
can
you
do
would be
it for a
able
few
to.
years for sure. I mean, maybe even a decade, I guess. I know Muhammad still has hope and his is over a decade now. But I wonder where that hope sort of wears thin, you know, and you're kind of like, this is it. Like, I don't know.
The relationship's done.
That's hard. That's hard to live with for the rest of your life.
Yeah, of
that's
course.
really tough. So it might, like, yeah, I don't know. I struggle with that.
I don't know.
It's
I
hard.
feel like as a parent, I think you would always have that hope. no matter
For
how
sure.
old
For sure.
the child is.
I agree, but what a shame to be sitting there
I
at
know.
fucking 80 years old and still feeling like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I pray that
Doesn't happen to
changes
him.
for Muhammad,
And
absolutely.
that
And
it
for
comes
everyone
sooner,
that's
of
going
course.
through something like that. But I just feel like what a way to live your whole life. Babe, even, you know what, honestly, 10 years for Muhammad's too long.
Yeah.
Too long to live like that.
It is too long, but his son's like 13 now, you know? So
I know.
I feel like, and I'm hoping,
Of course,
I'm very hopeful
Absolutely.
that, you know, as the years go on and the child gets older,
100%.
that he gets to a point where he's like, I want to know who my dad is.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look for him.
Of course.
You know?
Course. And that does happen all the time. We hear about that all the time. And I hope for Mohammed and anyone else out there that happens to them also. I just feel like it's unfair for another adult to put a person through that.
Yeah, it is.
And you know what really pissed me off about Mohammed's episode, I have to say? A lot of people, we post snippets on TikTok, right? And a lot of people watch the snippet and comment on the snippet. And that's fine. I understand that's what TikTok's about. We're not giving you the full story. We're giving you an insight.
Snippet, yeah.
Okay, fine. But if you're going to make a concrete comment about, for example, no, well, he would have to be abusive or a junkie or blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, the Australian court system would never take a child away from their father. I encourage you to watch the full episode.
Not just that. There is a whole podcast called The Broken Fathers Podcast.
Yeah.
And every person that comes onto this podcast has a story about how the system has somehow failed them.
Yeah. That's right.
So
Do a
watch
bit
our
of
episode.
research, just
but
a
you know
little
what?
bit, yeah.
Go listen to that
For sure,
podcast
for
because
sure.
there are so many parents out there who are going through or have gone through what Muhammad has gone through.
Absolutely. And I understand these people that make those comments too, because honestly, and I've told you this, when you first told me about Muhammad's story, I honestly thought, fuck me, I hope it's true, because it doesn't sound true. It sounds like there's something's going to come up and we're going to get a DM saying, well, here's the evidence, he did this, this and that. And then I'm going to be like, fucking hell, we put that out there on social media, right? Because I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think that you could not see your child if you haven't done anything wrong. Like I didn't think that was legal, and I didn't understand the legal process, right? So I understand where people are coming from, but I do encourage those people to just watch the full episode and just hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Because Muhammad's lived it. He's gone through it. He's gone through the legal system. And you can see the steps that he's taken to see his son. And you can also see why it hasn't worked out. You know, so before you jump to, oh, he must be abusive, he must be a junkie, he must be whatever, I do encourage you to actually listen to the episode.
Yeah. And, you know, just the other day, actually, I think it was last week, I follow the Broken Fathers podcast and the host of that podcast. And he had posted a message that someone had sent him.
Right.
And it was a child.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think he's older now, but he was a child to divorced parents.
Okay.
And the mum kept him away from the father.
Okay.
And he wrote him and he screenshot it and posted the message. He wrote to him and he said, you know, my parents were divorced and my mum fed me with a lot of bullshit when I got to a certain age. And when I was older, I went out looking for my father because I wanted to have a relationship with him and I wanted to know who my father was. My mum kicked me out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said that he was living in a fucking gutter somewhere behind bins and it was his father who came and saved him. And now he has such an amazing relationship with his father.
You know what? That's beautiful, special, but the resentment that I have towards people that put people through that
Of
is
course.
like astronomical. I understand it can be a happy ending, and that's
Yeah, but
great.
why? Like, why does it have to get to that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why can't
Like, it's not a joke. Taking someone's family
Away from them.
child away from them is not a joke. It's not something that you do out of spite or out of malice or out of hating your partner. Like, fuck you and your partner. It's about your kid.
they don't think about that?
Of course they don't.
They think about
Of
their
course,
emotions.
Of course.
Their emotions are heightened, and
Of course.
they don't think about what's good for the child and the well-being of the child. They think about, what am I going to do to fuck shit up and to get, you know,
I can't
get this
imagine
person-
such heightened emotions for like 20 years though, right? Crazy. I mean, you know me. I get like so angry and then like 25
but
minutes
then I
later
think
I'm like,
the other thing I question as well is, you know, this isn't the only time this isn't the first time I've heard this where, you know, divorced parents, they've got children and they stick with one parent, and then when they want to go and have a relationship with the other parent number one gets the shits. Why?
I really feel like it just all has to do with the other parent not being able to regulate their emotions, even as fully grown adults. Because that's...
And this
to
is
me-
when like people are finding their parents when
Yeah.
they're older in life.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You-
I'm telling you, they can't regulate their emotions as adults. And there's a lot of adults that don't know how to regulate their emotions. And they can't put themselves second. And that's when I said in our other episode, and I always talk about loving someone unconditionally, that's what it means. If you love your child unconditionally, you want what's best for them, even if it's not what's best for you, even if it's not what makes you happy, not just your child, anyone. If I love you, I want what's good for you,
For me,
even if it doesn't serve me.
Yeah.
That's unconditional love. Unconditional love does not come with clauses and terms and conditions, right? You want what's best for the other person, even if that means maybe you taking a step back from their life, if that's what's going to serve them the best.
Yeah.
That's what true love is. Not love that comes with clauses and only what suits me and only if it benefits me or makes me feel a certain way, the way that I want to feel.
Yeah.
Any other love, for me, like throw it in the bin because it's conditional.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
No, you're right. And I think ambiguous grief is like, it's so broad.
Oh, of course it is. So many subcategories under ambiguous grief.
So many
Comes in like different
subcategories.
shapes, different sizes. And I think that's why it has such a big reach with our community on TikTok, on socials, YouTube. I think that's why that episode was really
Relatable to so many people.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to highlight that it's real. It's a real thing.
Of
And
course it's
actually
real.
acknowledge that a relationship breakdown, and again, when we say relationship, we do not mean boyfriend, girlfriend.
No,
we're
it can
talking about
be
that.
a
We're
sister,
talking about
a
siblings,
brother,
friends,
family,
whatever.
parents.
Yeah. When that happens, it is real and your feelings are valid. And I think that people that are going through ambiguous grief often get overlooked and they're not given as much empathy from other people because it's not a death.
That's
you
right.
know?
It's not.
I don't think people look at people that have lost a close friend of 20 years through a friendship breakdown, and I don't think their heart goes out to them as much as it would if their friend died.
Well,
Do you know
no,
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's right.
And I understand that, but I think it's because those people actually haven't understood ambiguous grief and maybe haven't thought about it as hard as I have since I watched Mohammed's episode.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it's really important to validate that. If you're watching this, like, your feelings are so valid. And if you know someone or someone's popped into your head and you might think like, fuck, you know, they lost their friend of like 35 years over, I don't know, someone not liking someone's partner or whatever, it would be really hard for them. It would be really hard. And I think as a community of grievers that we have, and we're always about supporting grievers and supporting this person's emotion, whatever, we should highlight ambiguous grief.
Definitely.
And it's totally a part of our community too.
Yeah.
You know?
is.
And I
It's-
think
it's a big part
that
of the
can be
community.
included. So if you are going through something like that, our podcast, our Facebook group page, all that stuff is not just for widows. It's
That's
also for
right.
people like you that have lost someone but not fully lost
Yeah.
them, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So I think with ambiguous grief, the psychological effects of that on you as a person are massive, right?
They would be, of course.
So I think there's a lot of mental fatigue between, so like cycling between hope and then despair.
Yeah, which we spoke about just earlier.
Absolutely.
That would head fuck you.
Imagine that. Imagine feeling like that all the time, holding on to hope, and then something happens
it's not
that
gonna
day that's
happen.
crushed. Yeah, that's exactly. And you would go back and forth. You would bounce.
And can I say, I'm sure that through ambiguous grief with somebody who, you know, is a friend or a mum or a brother or whatever it is,
Yeah.
there would be points during that time
Yeah.
where someone might, for example, want to intervene and be like, I'm going to talk to them and I'm going to see if they'll come to the table and let's sort it out.
Yeah,
You have hope.
that's
Right?
right. Yeah.
They'll go, then they'll come back and they just don't want
Doesn't
to.
want to talk about it. Yeah, and it's like shut down again. Yeah.
So throughout that time, there'd be moments where you
Of
are
course.
so hopeful
Yeah.
and then it gets crushed.
And you feel
And-
closer. You're
Exactly.
like, I'm nearly there.
Yes.
Someone's going to
Correct.
intervene.
And
Yeah.
then think of it, Muhammad's case, child, for example.
Absolutely.
Right? He might go, say, to court and there'd be a court order, and the court order is, for example, you need to bring the child to this, you know, visitation
right.
center, and, you know, it's got to be done once a fortnight or whatever. I'm giving you an example.
Yeah.
So hopeful.
Yeah.
He speaks about how
Yeah.
he'd be driving there.
Yeah,
He
that's
would be
right. Yeah.
driving there
Yeah.
to see his son, hopeful, so excited.
Yeah.
Gets there, she's called in sick.
Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine how crushed you'd be. So close, yet so far.
Far, yeah.
And that is head fucking.
Of course it's head fucking.
So mentally challenging. Yeah. Another thing as well with the psychological side of things, I would imagine that you get triggered, right? So when we get triggered all the time,
Of course.
losing our husbands, right? Little things trigger us. With ambiguous grief, I feel like the triggers are prolonged
Yeah.
for a long period of time.
Yeah, they would be because they're still alive.
And they're fresh and they're new, right? Our triggers aren't new. They're pretty much, I would say you go through all the motions of what's going to trigger you probably first 2 years. You've
Yeah.
gone through them all and you will continue to go through them and they will feel slightly different from time to
Yes,
time.
that's
but
right.
you've covered all the triggers, right, in the first 2 years
Yeah.
of grief. With ambiguous grief, it could be a new thing. You could be shopping
Yeah.
and you see them,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
That's huge. That's
You could
huge.
see a photo of them.
What, a new photo, something
Yeah.
new.
Oh,
They've
Grown.
a milestone. Your friend that you were friends with for 35 years
Fuck.
had a baby. You don't know her baby.
Yeah. Got married. You
Hard.
went there. You would have
Very
been the,
hard.
you know, the bridesmaid or the,
Yeah.
oh.
Imagine that. Constantly being triggered. Imagine Muhammad with his son. Son enters kindergarten, graduates year 6, enters high school. Like, that's
Fuck.
fucking rough. That is rough. It is so hard. It is so hard. So I can't say that I've been through ambiguous grief, like well and truly been through. I can't say that I have. I would say you have to an extent for sure. I think the fact that you got your closure and that you're friends now is massive and probably helped you. But
But a lot of people don't get
a
there.
lot of people don't, right? So it's like, what do you do? How do you heal?
And to be fair, I didn't know whether I'd get to that. But I
that's
didn't
exactly
think
right.
I would.
How long, sorry, was it between breakdown of friendship and becoming friends again?
Say like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, years?
Yeah.
5 years? Oh, that's ages. Oh, that's like a proper yeah, okay, that's a long time.
Yeah, that was
a
like
long
4 or
time.
5 years of like
That's massive.
no contact.
That's massive.
But still seeing this person as
Yeah.
well. You
Yeah.
know? So,
That's really hard.
yeah.
So what do you do? I mean, you know what I would do. What I'm doing in 2026. Therapy. I'd go to therapy.
2026, we thought last quarter of
fucking year.
2025.
No, I never. I told you I'm busy.
You said the
Guys,
end of the
find
year.
it. I didn't.
Yes, you
January.
did.
January. Fresh start. No one's starting therapy in December. Fuck that.
I said last quarter.
No, I'm not starting in the last quarter. I'm starting fresh in January. January 1st, I'm in the office.
Okay.
So I can't wait to go to therapy. Imagine how much I'm going to tell you guys after I have my therapy session. Oh my God, I'm going to have so much great advice, guys. No, but therapy would be my thing. I don't know what else to do other than go to therapy about it,
Yeah.
right? It's hard. It's like
I feel like I've been your therapist.
oh, hell yeah. Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
And you've been mine. To be fair, I haven't been in a while. I think I should go back.
We should all go to you guys at home, all of us need therapy. Everyone, even people that think they have no problems in their life should be in therapy.
Yeah.
Everyone needs fucking therapy.
You know, if those people that don't have any problems,
Yeah.
I think they should get themselves a life coach.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So not therapy, a life coach for them
Yeah.
and therapy for us.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Because if you've got no problems in your life, why do you need therapy?
How can you have no problems in your life? Who the fuck has no problems in their life? I don't know.
Maybe there are
anyone.
people that have no problems in their life.
Come forward. Show yourself. Honestly, I'd like to meet you. What
Maybe-
a fucking life. To
maybe
have
they've
no
got-
problems at all.
No, like maybe normal stresses in life, like work related
No major.
no major problems.
Can you let us know if you're one of those really
But you
happy
would've-
people that have no issues? I want to hear from you. I want to know just what's life like. What's it like to be stress-free and happy?
But get yourself a life coach.
Yeah, okay.
That's like,
Well, maybe they don't need one. They're like, fuck,
I
I'm doing
feel
great.
I feel like for me, I feel like when I'm like in my mid 40s,
Oh,
yeah, I feel like I want a life coach.
okay. So mid-40s, you won't have any problems. You just need life coaching. Is that where we're aiming?
I'm hoping I have no problems in
Cool.
mid 40s.
Yeah, that's a long time to wait though, isn't it? All the way till 40 to be problem-free. I'm exhausted now. I'm so tired. I
Yeah,
could
I
do
am
another
too.
decade of issues.
No.
Fuck
No.
that.
Yeah.
No way. Do you know what I was thinking about actually? You know how the other episode we spoke about people that have lost multiple partners?
Yes.
I would tapping the fuck out if I lost another partner. See ya. I'm out. No way. Babe, there's no way.
You'd need a life coach,
Fucking
therapy.
therapist. I don't know what the fuck I need. I need like 10 of you on speed dial. You'd have to quit your
Psychologist.
job because I need you
Literally.
24/7. No, seriously, tapping the fuck
Yeah.
out. Because when we did that episode and we did ask people to come forward, we have a few DMs
Yeah.
from people and they're like, hey, do you
Yeah.
want me to come forward? I've lost this person. I've lost that person.
Yeah, and the
whatever.
person that I was talking about, we're actually going to get her on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she agreed.
I would,
She agreed.
I'd be done.
Yeah.
Done. Finished. Imagine now.
Imagine that grief.
But sorry, what I've already been through, can you please picture I meet the love of my life, we start a family together, we're all happy days,
And then he
they die on
dies.
me. That would be my 13th reason. Not going to lie, babe.
Can you pull up that message? We had one that really stood out to me.
Well, I didn't read it. What was it?
Can you go to our Instagram? She says, she's been listening to our podcast for a while. She was listening today and we had mentioned if anyone has lost a partner more than once. She was with her partner for about 7 years. By the way, I hope you don't mind me reading this. I'm not going to say who it is. So she was with her partner for about 7 years. She met him when he was 15. They had a beautiful baby girl when she was 20. he passed away. He passed away a week before their daughter's second birthday. She found another partner, so she entered into a new relationship, and about 8 months later. Okay, so she was with partner number one.
Yep.
They had a child.
Yep.
And then just before that child turned 2, he passed.
Right.
Then 8 months later, she found partner number 2.
Yep.
She says, swept me off my feet.
Beautiful.
Took on the role as my daughter's father without hesitation.
Amazing.
They traveled. They bought a house.
Love that.
They had 2 more children, and then they got engaged.
Yeah.
And then in 2020, he was diagnosed with stage 4 bowel cancer. He fought it for 4 agonizing years and then passed away the start of 2024. She is now a widowed mum of 3 beautiful children, 15, 9 and 8, twice. Completely heartbroken. Yeah.
Oh.
What fucking luck, hey?
Yeah, fuck. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that DM. I thought you were going to read something else out.
What?
I didn't realize we were, don't mind me. I just didn't know that was going to be the ending. No, that's fucked. That's fucked.
Yeah.
That's fucking sad.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind me reading that one out.
Yeah.
That hit hard.
Yeah, of course.
And this is the thing. Every widow or widower, I feel like when they do move forward with their life, they're always going to have a little bit of PTSD. Absolutely. I hope they don't.
100%.
But they will.
Yeah.
Because they've been through it once. They're going to be like, they're going to feel
100%
and think, is this going to happen to me again?
Absolutely.
Is this going to happen to me again? And so, like, that poor girl.
Yeah, I can't imagine her headspace. I can't imagine that. Once is rough. Twice is 3 times, 4 times. And we will hopefully hear from that lady as well that has been through that 4 times. Yeah. I just can't imagine her mental state. I can't. Yeah. 1 is enough to, like, ruin you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. I don't know. I'm speechless, but
yeah, it's tough.
It is tough.
I'd love to get that lady on our podcast.
Yeah, she'd be great to get on as well.
I'll message you.
Yes, we'll reach out.
Yeah.
And one thing to make note of as we wrap this episode up, I've said this in like a while ago, but to reiterate, DMs that you send, messages, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, if we haven't gotten around to them, we will. We're not ignoring them. Sometimes we will just preview them because we need to see if it's related to like a new episode or whatever. Yep. But we do get so many, and we always try and get around to every single one of them. And it takes time because we don't just like to give you a whatever response. Yep. It's meaningful to us, and it means a lot to us that you've been vulnerable. Yeah, reached out and, etc. So we will get around to them. So apologies if we haven't, but we will.
Yeah.
And also with the whole anonymous thing, they're always anonymous unless you say that we can like share your name and you've got an issue and you want to come on the podcast, you want to share your story or etc. So you don't have to worry about anything like that because I know it's super personal and some people don't like other people to know that they've written in and etc. Mm-hmm. So always anonymous.
There's another message, somebody who had listened to the Grief Without Loss podcast episode.
Yep.
And how it was it's in the thing.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can.
Ladies, I just discovered your channel and your page. Firstly, my deepest condolences to you both on the loss of your respective husbands. It must be extremely difficult to navigate life with such a huge part of it now gone. I cannot even imagine what you're both dealing with and going through. I wish you both eternal good health. I love listening to your posts, and although I've only liked your page for a short amount of time, can relate, especially about the topic loss without death. Going through divorce myself, and it was totally unexpected on my end, and I can relate to the loss without death. Another part of ambiguous grief.
That's
by
right.
the way, divorce that you didn't initiate or didn't expect.
And especially those ones that have been married for 20, 30,
100%.
40 years.
And I hear that often in my salon. So many people like that.
That's
really
like a
common.
death.
Of course it is. 100. Imagine that, being married for 30 years and your husband or your wife turns around one day and they're like, I don't love you anymore. See ya, I'm out.
That's right.
It's rough. Going through divorce myself, and it was totally unexpected on my end. I can relate to loss without death. You've lost your best friend and lover, and I commend you both on what you're doing. Wish you both all the best. Sharing stories and experiences helps everyone navigate this period. Some of us have it worse. Some of us have it easier. A weird period of our lives to go through, losing someone you never thought you would. Bless you both for doing your channel such a page. Keep up the great work. We really appreciate that.
Yeah,
and thank you for sharing and reaching out. It's a really nice message. And glad that you're benefiting from the podcast. But that's a great example of ambiguous grief.
That's right.
Another one.
Divorce.
Massive. When someone doesn't want it and the other person does.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I hear from my clients that these people that want it make these snap decisions. It's not like something that's spoken about, like, I'm not happy. Like, yeah, that does happen obviously all the time.
A lot of them are blindsided.
Really snap. Like the person, like, I've heard the craziest stuff, like wakes up one day and just like, I'm not in love with you anymore. I'm out. And not even like, we'll work on it or whatever. Like, see you later, out the door, pack my bags, never see me again. That's fucked up. And that's ambiguous grief for sure. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We will see you next week. As always, please, if you're watching this, click the subscribe button. And you can find us on all channels at Married Now Widowed. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.